Today I'm going to show you how I am going to modify a stand for the new member of our family, and that's Chewbacca. I bought him through Home Depot a few months ago, put him in our living room, but found out he was way too tall for our house, so I'm going to put him in our entryway. Still a little bit cramped, but I'm going to modify his stand so that he takes up a little bit less surface area on the ground there. So I really wanted to just build a new stand for him, but found out that because of the way the legs are angled and the supports that they have, I'm going to have to just take the stand that's there, cut it up, add some plywood or some, actually so I've got some 1-inch pine to it, and then paint it up, add some EVA foam to it, and hopefully that'll work out just fine. So let's take a look at how I did that. So this is what his stand originally looked like. His feet just go in over like that. So he's got quite a long base to it. What I'm going to do is cut it up and add a smaller base that's a little bit more stable. So I did already, I cut that, so I've removed this part and removed this part, and hopefully I won't need these again. I'm just gonna hold on to them just in case, you never know. Put that over here. So I've got this part here now, and what I've done is I've made a piece of wood, which is right here. This is an old kitchen table that's just over 1 inch thick, and I rounded over the edges and made some corners on them, and it's fairly heavy, it's flat, so that's going to be good. I'm going to put the stand on here, and then what I did is I created these 3D printed brackets. Show you what that looks like. And they're just going to pop on here, here, and then I've got a whole line of them all the way along there, here, and here. Screw them all down with some 3/4 inch screws and adhere that to that, and that should be good to hold it in place. Then what I've done is I've cut some EVA foam here. That's going to go in there. That'll go in there. And then I even have some edges here that will go on like that. And I'm going to use E6000 glue that all down. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is, since this is outside, even though it's undercover, I'm going to give this a paint the edges, paint the bottom, then glue this on. I'm going to use a heat gun and just kind of take care of the edges, and then I'm going to spray paint this with a bunch of different dark grays, browns, kind of weather it a bit. And then once his feet are actually on there, I'll show you what it kind of looks like. You won't see a lot of the foam anyways, so that'll go on like this, like that. This will all be glued together, and that's a much smaller surface area for Chewy. Hopefully that'll work out just fine. So let's get started to paint this up and get this glued on. Here's what it looks like with the foam put on. I don't care for it too much. You can still see this bar across here. I haven't painted the foam yet, so that would kind of fade into the bar and the foam together. But I think what I'm going to do is take the feet off here, and then I'm going to add this landscape fabric and put that just over top of all of this and wrap it down around, and then spray it with some different colored spray paints to give it a more aged effect, and see what that looks like. Here's the stand with a few different shades of spray paint on. I've got some greens, some browns, some reds. Still don't care too much about the ends here, how they're done. So what I did is I created these files on my 3D printer, just designed this to make it replicate kind of like the ammo boxes for Chewbacca. This is a 2-inch curve, and what they're going to do is they're going to get screwed onto here on all four corners, and then for the flat area on the front here, it's going to be just a little offset there in the middle. And I'm going to spray these in silver and then do a black wash on them. So let's take care of that. So what you want to do is just use some black paint, watered down, and just dab it all over where all the recesses are mostly, because that's where dirt will accumulate first. Get over to the other side here. Just get in there. And then you could always spritz it down with some Windex or some water and dab it off. And you can do this on multiple passes. So you can see I've got a lot of it's taken off on that first pass. And then what I like to do is go over it again with not as much paint on it. And then dab that off. Then you want to come in with a little bit of orange and add some rust effects to it. So what we're going to do is just put some rust in here, mostly around where the screws are. Have it kind of dribble down from there. Some of these recesses in here, over on the other side. And then just dab that off. You can see how it's starting to weather, look like it has that weathered look. And then I like to come back and put some more at the bottom, because that's where most of the dirt will accumulate for an object like this. And that's not too bad, so you can see some of the effects here. And the good thing is you could always take off some, add some more. I don't think there's enough rust on here, so I'm going to add a little bit more in here. There, that looks much better. All right, let's finish this off with the other remaining pieces. Well, here's the front of our house. It's a little tropical lanai. Over in the corner by the front door, I've got Koa. He's a pit droid that I built a while back. He talks to people as they approach the house. And he was 3D printed. I added a voice chip to him, so he says a lot of things. Right, Koa? There you go. And there is Chewbacca. He is quite large and in charge here. He's got a bamboo staff instead of his candy cane. And there's the base that I just built. So pretty massive. What I've done is I've turned his sound down because I don't want the neighbors mad at me for making too much noise in front of my house. Let's just activate him and see what he sounds like and how his motion arm works with this bamboo staff. Guess we gotta walk closer to, yeah, Koa's talking away. Well, Chewbacca, what do you have to say for yourself? Okay. Pretty awesome. Thanks, Chewbacca. Well, thanks for joining me on this video building Chewbacca's base. It's really cool how it changed the way I ended up using the landscape fabric and 3D printing elements to it. It worked out pretty good. He was in a windstorm the other day and he stayed put, except he had to have his hair really combed out quite a bit. So I'm glad that the base is working anyways. Well, God bless you, and Lord willing, we'll see you real soon.